So there is this new model from Minimax called M2.5 and it's kind of a big deal. Not because it's trying to hype itself up, but because it actually changes the economics around how you can use AI for coding and office work. What actually caught my attention is the pricing. They are running this thing at 30 cents per million input tokens and $1.2 per million output tokens. And there is a faster version called M2.5 Lightning that costs twice as much but runs at 100 tokens per second instead of 50. When you break it down, you can run the model continuously for an hour at $1 if you are getting 100 tokens per second. Drop it to 50 tokens per second and it's 30 cents an hour. That's the kind of pricing where you don't really need to think about cost anymore. The benchmarks are solid too. 80.2% on SWE Bench verified, which puts it basically on par the Claude Opus 4.6. It also got 51.3% on multi-SWE Bench and 76.3% on BrowseCamp. But here is what matters more than scores. The owner of OpenHands project said this is the first open model he's independently confirmed is better than Claude Sonnet. That's a real endorsement because he's actually testing these models in production scenarios. The architecture is 230 billion parameters, but only 10 billions are active at any given time. It's a mixture of expert setup, which means it can keep the reasoning depth of a massive model without being slow. They trained it for 2 months using something they built called Forge, which is their reinforcement learning framework. Forge is actually interesting because of how it works. Most companies train AI models on static datasets or human feedbacks. Minimax took a different approach. They trained their own internal work into training environments, code repositories, web browsers, office applications, API endpoints, over 200,000 different environments. Then they just let the model practice in these environments and optimized based on whether it actually completed the task. One thing that emerged during training without them specifically programming it is what they call the architecture mindset. The model learned to plan out the structure and feature of a project before writing any code. It does not just jump into the coding, it decomposes the task, think about the UI designs, figure out the system architectures first. That's a behavior pattern that came from the reinforcement learning, not from prompt engineering. They trained it on more than 10 programming languages: Go, C, C++, TypeScript, Kotlin, and many more. And they did not just focus on bug fixing. The training covered the full development lifecycle: 0 to 1 system design, environment setup, feature iteration, code reviews, system testing. It handles full stack projects across web, Android, iOS, and Windows. The speed improvement over their previous model M2.1 are measurable. On SWE Bench verified, M2.5 averaged 3.52 million tokens per task versus 3.72 million from M2.1. The end-to-end runtime dropped from 31.3 minutes to 22.8 minutes. That's a 37% speed improvement and it matches Claude Opus 4.6 runtime. But the cost per task is only 10% of what Opus cost. On that office work front, they collaborated with professionals in finance, law, and social sciences. These people designed requirements, gave feedback, and contributed directly to the training data. The goal was to make the model produce actually deliverable documents, not just text that looks roughly right. When you ask it to make a Word document or Excel finance model, it should follow industry standard and produce something a professional would use. Minimax is already using M2.5 internally. 30% of their company's tasks are now handled by the model: sales, HR, finance, R&D, product. And in coding specifically, 80% of their newly committed code is generated by M2.5. That's not a small pilot, that's a production scale usage. The improvement rate from M2 to M2.1 to M2.5 over 3.5 months has been faster than the progress rate from Claude, GPT, or Gemini model families. At least on SWE Bench verified, part of that is because they are scaling reinforcement learning aggressively. They built infrastructure to handle millions of samples per day at context length up to 200k tokens. Also, there has been some skepticism though. Someone on Hacker News pointed out that on artificial analysis coding index, M2.1 scored 33, which is far behind frontier models, and they mentioned the model wrote extensive test suite on fake data and then claimed everything was working perfectly because all tests passed. So there are actually failure modes, but the people actually using it in production seems positive. One developer said they use Minimax as their fast workhorse for tools calling and quick responses, while using other models like GLM for coding and Kimi for deep knowledge tasks. The combination works better than relying on any single model. The licensing is open source with one restriction. If you use the model commercially, you need to display Minimax M2.5 prominently in your user interface. It's a modified MIT license, otherwise you can download the weights from Hugging Face and run it yourself. For deployment, they recommended using SGLang or VLLM. You can also run it through their API, OpenRouter or through coding agents like Cline or OpenCode. Right now, there are free access through several platforms for a limited time. The broader context here is that this is coming from a Chinese startup. Minimax is based in Shanghai and they are catching up the US labs extremely quickly. Opus 4.6 came out just a week before M2.5 and M2.5 is already competitive with it on several benchmarks. The GPU resources is available to Chinese companies are supposedly more limited than what US labs have, but they are making up for it with better training techniques and reinforcement learning at scale. The cost efficiency opens up use cases that were not economically viable before. Running automated code audits at massive scale, having multiple AI agents running continuously for long-term projects, building products where AI is deeply integrated into the workflow without worrying about token cost. One of the more interesting technical detail is how they handle the credit assignment problem in reinforcement learning. When you have long context agent rollouts, it's hard to figure out which specific actions led to success or failure. They introduced process rewards for end-to-end monitoring of generation quality, and they evaluated task completion time to balance intelligence against response speed. For example, in industry research, you can merge a standard operating procedure with word skills, and the model will fetch data, organize analysis, and output properly formatted research report that follows the established frameworks. In financial modeling, you can combine organizational modeling standard with Excel skills, and it will generate and validate complex financial models according to specific risk control logics. The comparison with other models is interesting. Against Claude Opus 4.6, M2.5 is 1 by 10th to 1 by 20th the cost depending on which version you use. Performance is roughly comparable on coding tasks, slightly behind on some benchmarks, slightly ahead on others. Against GPT-5, similar cost advantage. Against Gemini 3 Pro, same story. The speed at which they are releasing improved versions is also notable. M2, M2.1 and M2.5 all came out within 3.5 months, and each iteration shows measurable improvements. That's a faster release than most other model families. In terms of practical use, you can integrate it with VS Code through Cline, use it in OpenCode for autonomous coding tasks, or just hit the API directly. The context window is more than 200,000 tokens, which is large enough for most practical use cases. One limitation to keep in mind is that while it's strong at coding and office work, it has not been positioned as a general purpose chatbot. The training focused heavily on agentic workflows, tool use, and productivity tasks. So if you are looking for something to have discussions with, this probably is not optimized for that. But for the use cases it was designed for, the economics are different now. You can deploy agents that can run continuously without worrying about the bills. You can automate tasks that were not worth automating before because of the token cost. And you can do it with a model that's actually competitive with the most model out there. The reinforcement learning approach they used with Forge seems to be the key differentiator. By training in hundreds of thousands of real-world environments instead of just a dataset, the model learned to actually complete tasks rather than just pattern match on training data. and because they turn their own company's work into training environments. The model learns real workflows, not synthetic examples. It's the first one where I would say, yes, this can actually replace a proprietary model for production coding work. Not in every situation, but in enough situations that it matters. Alright, so that's it from the video and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video.